Let's continue the lesson Memories of Childhood, Part 1 The Cutting of My Long Hair. Let us begin from this passage. But this eating by formula was not the hardest trial in that first day. Late in the morning, my friend Judwin gave me a terrible warning. Judwin knew a few words of English, and she had overheard the pale faced woman talk about cutting our long, heavy hair. Our mothers had taught us that only unskilled warriors who were captured had their hair singled by the enemy. Among our people, short hair was worn by mourners and singled hair by cowards. Dear students, let us have some meanings. Unskilled means here untrained. Capture means catch or arrest. Mourners means a person at a funeral. Coward means weakling. Explanation of the above passage is the writer says that the way of eating was not the only thing which she thought to be the hardest one, but there was one more terrible thing that her friend Judwin told her as she could understand a few words of English. So she had heard the pale faced woman saying that their hair should be cut down. The writer didn't want to do it because she had heard her mother saying that only untrained warriors that are arrested by the enemy cut their hair. In their community, only those who either were at funeral or were cowards cut short their hair, as Jitkala was neither a weakling nor a mourner, so she didn't want to cut her hair. Further passage from the textbook is we discussed our fates a moments, and when Judwin said, "We have to submit because they are strong," I rebelled. "No, I will not submit. I will struggle first," I answered. I miss here the narrator. I watched my chance, and when no one noticed I disappeared, I crept up the stairs as quietly as I could in my squeaking shoes. My moccasins had been exchanged for shoes. Along the hall I passed without knowing whither I was going. Turning aside to an open door, I found a large room with three white beds in it. The windows were covered with dark green curtains, which made the room very dim. Thankful that no one was there, I directed my steps toward the corner farthest from the door. On my hand and knees, I crawled under the bed and huddled myself in the dark corner. Fate means a destiny or God's will. Rebel means a revolt. Crept means crawl, move on hands and knees. Squeaking means making high pitched sound. Wither means where. Deep means dark. Huddle means holding arms and legs closely. Now let us have the explanation of the passage. Both Judwin and Jitkala Sa discussed about their destiny as they knew that their hair will be cut short. Judwin was of a few view that they should agree to what the authorities wanted to, as they were strong than these two girls, but the author was not ready for it, and so she decided to go against the school authorities. She went upstairs very quietly without being noticed in order to safeguard her hair. She was trying to walk very quietly because her moccasins were changed with shoes that make sound while walking. She crossed the hall and went into a room without knowing where she was going. She entered into a room which had three beds and green curtains, making it a bit dark. She then crawled under a bed and hides herself from those who want to cut her hair. Further passages from my hiding place I peered out, shuddering with fear whenever I heard footsteps nearby. Though in the hall, loud voices were calling my name, and I knew that even Judwin was searching for me. I did not open my mouth to answer. Then the steps were quickened and the voices became excited. The sounds came nearer and nearer. Women and girls entered the room. I held my breath and watched them open closet doors and peep behind large trunks. Someone threw up the curtains, and the room was filled with sudden light. What caused them to stoop and look under the bed, I do not know. I remember being dragged out, though I resisted by kicking and scratching wildly. In spite of myself, I was carried downstairs and tied fast in a chair. Peered means try to see, shuddering means shiver or shake, drag means pull, resist means hold out against, scratch means scrap. The writer shivered with the voice of footsteps whenever she tried to look out of her hiding place. She could hear many voices calling out for her name, including her friend Judwin. She didn't reply to them. Soon she heard the sound of steps and voices growing stronger and stronger. Women and girls entered into the room where she was hiding. They were searching for her everywhere. Even the curtains were also removed. Soon she was found under the bed and was pulled out of it. She tried hard to safeguard herself, even scrapped the other person, but she was taken away and tied up to a chair. I cried aloud. Dear students, further passages will be explained in the next class.